Hello. Yes, it's me again. It's Mishka, and we're talking business again. I'd like to go back to the I am and business, but welcome. Thank you for your time. And as I mentioned before, for me, it's extremely important to tell you that I value the time that you spend on this, but I also trust that every single moment that you do spend on listening to these videos, that something will happen and something will change in your life, and it will be time well spent, because that's what life's all about. We need to make sure that we are prudent with what we do. Now, I'd like to go back. We spoke about business, the I am and business, a couple of weeks ago. And non-surprisingly, I got such a response again from people who said that, please help me, I want to start a business, or please help me, I am in business, what do I do? And that made me realize that I'm going back and I'm going to speak to you today about business. But once again, and give you the good news, and that is on the 4th of October, we'll be launching these same similar videos that I'm doing now on the I Am. We'll be launching them on Wednesdays, and it will be purely business, and let's talk business. So please join us. It will be so good for you if you want to learn more about doing business. I'm no expert in all the areas, but I have been a business consultant for many years, and it will be only my pleasure to give this into your life and to speak into your life. And just, it's very often a mindset that we're looking at. And what I'm not a specialist in, I'll always tell you, so there's no need to be concerned about that. But today, when I talk about the I am, remember that is different. And I want to invite you, and I want you just to take yourself out of yourself and let's go on a different journey. And I want you to see yourself today in the shoes of a bank manager, because you know what? Or just a bank, manager. Let's call it a manager. Now, a lot of people don't continue with their businesses, or they think they can't do business because they've got no money. I think this comes up all the time. Probably it's one of the questions I get most. It's interesting that a lot of people wouldn't ask me always for strategy. They will ask me, how do I get the money? I need money. It's the first thing that people think about if they want to start a business. And there's obviously a reason for that, because we see that there should be spending. Business is all about money, isn't it? It's about making money. But very often, that is also the one thing that holds us back from stepping into our dream, because we think we can't do it. Because the bank manager might have said, no, I'm not going to give you a loan. You don't have enough proof that you're going to give me anything, in return. Remember, they are in business. When we talk about this and we talk about a bank manager, we're talking about somebody that's got to make a sound business decision. We're not talking about a grant or somebody just handing you the money to do it. And that's why the first thing I want to just discuss with you today, still in I am, is because we're talking about a factor in our lives that may hold us back. Now, I don't want to talk about the money factor in terms of business. I want you to see yourself as a bank manager, and somebody else is coming to you and asking you for a loan. Because many of you may have been in the situation and somebody said to you, no, I'm not going to give you the help to start in a business. And that may have been the last time you even considered it. Perhaps you thought, oh, well, maybe my plan is not good enough, or that person may have stopped your dream, to be quite honest. Very often we allow somebody that is in a position that they are in, and because they say no, we stop what we're doing. Can you see? And I'd like to just put a different perspective on it for you today. And I want you, that's why I say, I want you to think about yourself as a bank manager. Now, you see, banks and any financial institution that would give a loan to anybody for business and for anything else, that is a business. That's their prime thing, is they are in business. So when the application goes in, the bank manager or whoever, the credit manager who would be looking at your application, will look at a couple of things, and that's standard. So they may say no, and you might feel, this has just killed my dream because I'm not good enough. Can you see the emotions that comes with that whole scenario of going for a loan or going for somebody and ask somebody, can you help me? I want to start a business. That's what I first want to deal with, because unless we deal with it and unless we actually root it out, and understand that nobody else can actually stop your dream. The only thing is we may have to just change it and tweak it and understand. Rather, let's look at that and go back to why that has now stopped. Now, banks look at a couple of things, obviously, and they want a business plan, a proper business plan. They want to see that we know what we're doing, you know. You imagine, once again, you're the bank manager. What are you going to want somebody to bring you? So that is your prime objective as a manager of this institution or as a credit clerk or a credit manager. What is your prime objective? You really want to give this loan. Okay, so let's just sort that out, because that is what this financial institution is about. They actually want to give finance out, but they're very strict on it, because what do they also have to do is they've got to protect the institution. They've got rules and regulations. And that's the same thing. If you are thinking about yourself today as a bank manager and somebody else comes to you and say, okay, please, man, I want to start this business. Now, what do I do? And they say, right, you're going to say to them, I need you to hand in a business plan, and I need you to give me this and this and this and this. Now, what are they looking at? If you've been that manager now, remember, say for instance, you're not just the bank manager, but you even own this bank. This is your money. This is my money. So I've got this amount of it. You coming and you saying to me that I want you to invest in me. Just think about it for a little bit. You are that bank. You own the money. Now a person comes to you and says to you, I've got this business idea. Why would you invest in that business? Simple. It's not difficult. Why would you do it? What would you want to see they bring to the table? You see, when we reverse the roles, it starts to become easier to understand why things happen. If we simply go into a financial institution and we put in our financial loan or whatever, and they say no, and we don't actually always know. They don't tell us because they don't have time to go and sit with you. People working in a bank are not, for instance, a business consultant. So they don't come back to you and say, look, man, I think perhaps, you know, you need to just do this and this and this to your business. They don't do that. So we know that before we get there, we should actually have somebody helping us already doing it. But again, what would you be looking at if somebody walks into your doors today and you've got a certain amount of money and you're going to put it into that person's hands? What do you want? Because you're in business. You want a return on investment, isn't that right? So that is what the bank wants. That's their business. And if that business plan does not make sense, and if that business owner that's just handed in that plan does not prove that they are going to be able to drive this business and to make a success of it, will you give it to them? Now, just picture this. I want you to literally go and do this as an exercise. And once again, I'm going back to I am, because we're not talking about anything airy-fairy or, you know, weird. We're talking about facts, because we've lost track. Every time I speak to you about that I am that is inside of us, that is like an anchor. That is not something vague. It's not something that will ever mess you around. It is an anchor. If you go back on all the episodes, and I encourage you, if you haven't done it, go and listen to them, because a lot of it is to say to you, who are you? It anchors you. Every time you make a decision, the I am inside of you will give you the right answer if you give it time and you're patient. And you literally go and sit down and say, is this really good or isn't it? Sometimes we make just these decisions and they're life-changing decisions. And we just say, oh, you know, it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. It's not good. It's not good. We have to go back and say, this is something that needs to make that final decision inside of me. Now, that's why I want you to literally go through the exercise today. and put yourself in that other shoe and say, right, I am the one with the money. Put yourself into the complete opposite of where you are. And you say, I'm the one that's going to actually give this money. Number one, first thing is, if you're in business and that's what you do, and you're investing money, the I am inside of you already, you know exactly what you want, because that's what you do. Otherwise, you wouldn't have had the money to give in the first place. And I want you to see that, because that's what the bank is looking at. Fundamentally, that is what they're looking at. So that inside of you, you're going to ask a couple of questions. You're going to look at this thing, and this person is going to walk in, they're going to hand in this plan. Now, one of the, can I call it a mistake maybe, that I've picked up over the years, one of the major problems is that people, as a business consultant, I've seen this over and over, that people say, I want to start a business, but they haven't thought it through. If you start to ask them questions, what business? Where? How much are you going to charge? How many other people are there? What's happening? Where will you be? How will you go? What will your trading hours be? You see, that's actually a business plan I'm talking about. But we've made it this thing that is outside of us. It is such, to me personally, it has become, I would think, such a problem that we think that somebody else can do that for us. Yes, we can obviously get the expertise, because whom of us know just exactly how to do a business plan. But you know, the big concern for me is if I've got money that I want to invest in somebody and they bring another person's plan to me because it's just scientifically worked out, I'm not going to give them anything. Would you? The question is that I ask you today is, if it's your money that you're investing, will you put it in? What would you be looking at for that person to come and tell you? Just put yourself in that situation. Because now we're talking about clear-cut things here. We said the I am factor inside of you is the one that's going to make you make the right decision. You're sitting with an amount of money. This person is asking you, I want you, let's just make it a round figure of 100,000 rand or million rand. This person is looking for you to take your money and give it to them. They want you to give your own money now into their business. What are you going to be looking for? Surely we're going to be looking for that person that has thought through everything, isn't it? You don't have to be an expert on everything to have a business plan to make it look nice. Yes, of course. I mean, really, we don't all know. We've called it certain things, of course. We've called it a competitive analysis. You know, it really just means what is already happening in the field, what are they doing, and what am I going to do different? These are actually terms for things that is literally just, have you thought about it? Have you really seriously thought about your business? And if I speak to people and they say, oh, I want to go into business, then I say to them, okay, tell me more. And they say, what do you mean? I say, well, what do you want to do? And it is such a vital thing in our lives. It is possibly something that can change your life forever if you make the right decision. And if you want somebody to take their hard-earned money and put it into that place that you want to do, why would they do it? Have you thought it through? What are you doing? What are you giving? What are you not giving? What are you saying yes to? What are policies do you have? Are you going to have staff? Are you not going to have staff? What are you seeing? That's all. In a nutshell, that's all that anybody is really looking for. If I want to say, I've got money, I want to invest in your business, then the first thing I would say is, do they know what they want to do? It's a problem when people come and somebody else paid a person just to draw up a plan to impress and do a little bit of financials as a projection. But I asked them, okay, what is your rent going to be? And they don't answer me. If you're a business owner and you're planning to go into business, you should know exactly what you're going to do. How much are you going to spend? Who's your market? This should be the questions. You shouldn't be thinking about this big plan. You should just go inside first. The plan is what comes then. The business plan's awesome, it's wonderful. But it comes after we've gone deep. You know? So I'm talking about I am. Do you know who you are? What is the other thing that bank is going to look for? Let's shift again. We should change roles. You are the one now. You're the investor and you want to invest in somebody's business. You're looking for an opportunity. I mean, that's what you do. Nobody that comes to an investor should beg for the money. I mean, this investor is as keen as you are. That's what they do. They want to have a return on investment. That's what their business is. So when you go into that negotiation feeling already that, I don't know if I'm going to do this, there's something wrong. Understand that the moment you start and you know that you need it, there's a confidence that's got to come with it. The confidence is that I at least have to sit down, and if I can't tell at least 5 people in my life who are close to me, maybe not so close to me, and speak to them about my business and everything that I see in my business, how would somebody that doesn't know me at all put their money and give it to me? How am I going to secure to them that I'll give it back, that I will give them a good return on investment? You see, once we think about these things in that light and we look at the I am inside of us, we do not leave things anymore up to chance. I don't just go and take out that loan because I want to start a business. Just give me, I don't know, maybe I'll need 200,000. I don't know. That's not the way we do it. Because if we start that way, we will definitely finish with nothing. So I want to encourage you, and that's why we're going to do this whole thing with Let's Talk Business as well. Be clear on what you want. If you haven't started your business, go and think. There's far more that needs to go into the preparation that's coming from inside. Who are you? Because one of the things that bank manager or that investor is looking for is, who are you? I am. Do I know who I am? When that investor looks into your eyes and he sees that you know exactly what you want, that there's some things that maybe you won't know is going to happen exactly a year down the line. I mean, that's ridiculous. None of us know. We can't predict that. Nobody is asking you to do that. But what they're looking for is a person who would be able to do it, regardless of the circumstances. You see, we call it the jockey of a business. And that's what the investor and the bank's looking for. What is my jockey going to do when things go wrong? Because you see, when I want to invest money, it's not my problem. I don't want to sit with a jockey and tell a jockey what to do. The only thing that I do is I give you the money. I want my return on investment. Then I want to stop. So can you see what I'm saying? So perhaps we've done it wrong before. Perhaps you've gone into a financial institution and asked them for money and you don't really know how to do this and you can't start your business because you think you only need the money, you're desperate for the money. It's because your approach is completely wrong. And then I would like to invite you to start over. Start over with the journey. It's worth it. It's worth it to go deep. It's worth it to really, really make sure that you do this thing well. It's worth it for everybody that's involved in your business to know that you know who you are and what you want to achieve, you are aware of. You see, nobody else knows. I don't know. And you don't know what I want, but I should know. And that I want to encourage you to do. If you are in business already, same thing. Oftentimes we're doing well, but there are a lot of things in our business that's just taking its toll. Or we're running a business that's unhealthy. We're running a business that doesn't have a proper set of books. When I speak on Let's Talk Business, you'll find I say to people, when you go and purchase a property, that's your property, that's the value to it, and you go to your house and you clean it every day and you make sure it looks beautiful and that I'm going to sell it, I want to make a profit. It's clear. But because business is not always a clear entity, we are not so together with that. And the I am inside of us is a very, very strong factor of being successful in business. So, I want to invite you on the 4th of October, we'll be launching our first Let's Talk Business video. It will happen in the same fashion. It will be released every Wednesday that I'll be talking to you about business. And let's go into that journey together. From me, until next week, Mishka saying goodbye.